Everybody, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to the Formula Sports channel. Thanks for being here. Thank you for being here. As always, the support is much appreciated. We're talking the squad, the Jamaica Reggae Boyz squad for the upcoming CONCACAF Nations League game against Mexico. Seeing big upcoming Nations League game against Mexico. And the squad would have dropped yesterday. So we're talking about it. Finally, we get a chance to dissect it and speak on it a bit. For starters, I watched a press conference yesterday with Jaime Grimson, and I was very happy to hear the rhetoric coming from the gaffer. You know, he wasn't treating it as a case of, trying out players or, time to coming up with excuses prior about, trying to see what players fit system and all of that sort of stuff. The rhetoric of recent times from the gaffer. He described it, in terms of along those lines of, he's in the initial stages of his tenure. But he described this game, the tone was different when speaking about this game, and the messaging was different, the rhetoric was different. He was talking about labeling this game a must-win game for the Reggae Boyz and explaining the various reasons in the press conference why they were taking this game very, very, very seriously. Since I appreciate the rhetoric from the gaffer, and it's good to see that the mentality going into that match is one of positivity and one of strength, for want of a better word. This is the squad on your screen. I mean, most of you would have already have seen this squad, unless you're living under a rock. I mean, you guys see the goalkeepers, you see the defenders, the midfielders, the forwards. My webcam is over the name Jamal Lowe. If you have not seen the squad as yet, so you might see Lowe and you might see Bournemouth. You probably don't know who that is. If you're living under a rock, it's Jamal Lowe. He's currently on loan at Queen's Park Rangers. All right. You see that squad, you saw the banner at the end of the screen. Squad, all right, it can go on. Yeah, that's how I feel about the squad. It's all right, it can go on. When I thought about this upcoming window a couple weeks ago, I envisioned a stronger squad. I understand why certain names are not on it, and I don't understand why certain names are not on it. Obviously, the likes of Antonio and Blake are out, for example, for solid reasons. This was, for me, supposed to be the first of 3 caps, well-needed caps for Omari Hutchinson. Well-needed from a fan standpoint. This was supposed to be the first of 3. 1 down, 2 to go. Unfortunately, Hutchinson is not in the mix for personal reasons. That was what was stated by the gaffer. A disappointment there. When you look at the goalkeeping ranks, obviously the big person out is Blake for injury reasons. Jamal Wade, Kanaya Boys Clark, and Amal Knight. I hope we don't forget about the Crawley Town goalkeeper, Corey Adai. Right? I think he would be in the mix, being the Crawley Town starting goalkeeper, doing his thing at a decent level, a relatively young goalkeeper. I would have liked to have seen him in the mix this time around. We know what Amal Knight can do. I mean, yes, Adai has represented Jamaica before, but we need to see more of him, right? So I would have appreciated him coming in over Amal Knight. And I rate Amal Knight. It's no knock against Knight. But I would want to see Kanaya Boys Clark and Corey Adai in the mix. So I'm happy to see Kanaya Boys Clark. A bit disappointed Corey Adai isn't in the mix. I think those 2 goalkeepers, I mean, Jamali Wade, Kanaya Boys Clark, and Corey Adai are definitely the future as we see things right now. See, So I'm a bit disappointed that Ada is not in the mix. The defenders, the ones missing that kind of bothers me a bit, or I would have liked to have seen Lottie Bodier and Wes Harding. You know, I mean, one of them had to swap out one of them for Adrian Mariappa, especially Lottie Bodier. You know, a young player who can play in multiple positions, a player that I believe is a young, talented player that I believe we should cap. I don't know what is the situation with him, if it's a case that he does not have his documentation fully sorted, which would be a damn shame considering the fact that he represented Jamaica, what, almost a year ago, and to still not have the documents sorted. If that is the case, I'm not saying that is the case, but if that is the case, that would be sad. And if that is not the case and he was just not included, that would be strange to me personally. As another young player, I think we need to cap. You just never know what the future will hold for those young, talented guns. Wes Harding, I would have gone with a Wes Harding over Adrian Mariappa as well. That's just me. Another player that has seemingly been outcast, for want of a better term. I mean, we haven't seen him in the longest, and it's like we have forgotten about Wes Harding. A decent little player, in my estimation, one that can add value to our setup. And I think a player, I mean, look, ratings to Adrian Mariappa, we really appreciate the service over the years, but in all humility, we need to go forward with a different individual, and that's no knock against Mariappa. I guess the caps will help him in his quest to find a new club. Do we owe him that? That's up for debate, but big respect to Map same way. But yeah, I mean, a big story as well. Kemar Lawrence is back. I don't have any knocks against that, especially given the fact that Greg Lay is out with injury. So again, the two players in the defense and to be fair, when you think about Alvas Poyle had a decent season last season in the MLS, I say Alvas Poyle did have to put in work to get back in my national team, but he kind of put in some work in people. He never looked 3-3 bad in the MLS season last season. Seeing? So, but Lottie Bodier for me, I would have loved to have seen him in the mix. We're going to talk about another player that could have been in the mix, but from a midfield standpoint, So you guys see the midfielders on your screen, and this player is mainly a defender, but me would have personally put him in the midfield over a certain individual. But it's good to see Jonathan Russell in the mix. It's good to see Jonathan Russell. We need Jonathan Russell. Jonathan Russell is a player that we need in our national setup right now. I mean, in a position that we're seemingly cursed. Hopefully, Jonathan Russell can stay free of that curse. Boy, me that bring Michael Hector in that setup here over Kevin Lambert, Me that have Michael Hector as the backup CDM, people. Hit me in the comment section and let me know what you think. I would have Michael Hector in this squad. Look, I don't know me rate Lambert as a centre back. I rate him as a centre back. Don't have much time for him as a CDM. We need to look past Lambert as a CDM. Me would have bring back Hector as a CDM. He's a polarizing figure. I think he has put in some brilliant displays at CDM, especially under Winfried Schaefer. And I'm not going to judge any player for his performance on that topper. Seeing the midfield, looking decent, but not ideally what I would like. Not ideally what I would like. But it can go on. It can go on. It can go on. Yeah, it can go on. The forward line, Jamal Lowe, Burke, Stewart, Nicholson, Bailey. I mean, again, disappointing that Omari Hutchinson isn't in the mix. From what we understand, for good reason, I guess. We're itching to see him, being officially a reggae boy. He's not officially a reggae boy as yet. One player that I would speak on quickly is Johnson Clark Harris. Me personally, I would bring Johnson Clark Harris over Trevante Stewart. Just saying. As a matter of fact, Johnson Clark Harris is in red hot form. Johnson Clark Harris could probably be in the mix for getting significant game time in this current game, in this upcoming game. I don't know. Johnson Clark Harris right now would have, I don't know, he would have get game time over Nicholson. Because Nicholson not playing badly, but he not score. He hasn't been scoring goals much this season, but Johnson Clark Harris, albeit in a league a bit inferior, is tearing it up, right? But he would definitely make the cut over Trevante Stewart. Is it a case that he hasn't sorted out his documents as yet? I heard he did. Don't quote me on that. I'm not stating that officially, but I heard that he has sorted his documents. I don't know how true it is. If he hasn't sorted out his document, it would also be a damn disgrace because he would have represented the nation almost a year ago, right? And if not a year ago, round about that, and still to this day hasn't sorted out the documents, it can't be that, man. Not under this new look Jamaica Football Federation who are going about things the right way and have been much improved and a new look Jamaica Football Federation under a different regime. That cannot be the case that Johnson Clark Harris has not sorted out his documents. And I think it's very important. The forward line in recent times not really fire, Another name as well, Andre Gray. Want to Gray as well. Gray could have made this over Trevante Stewart easy, because with the greatest of respect to Stewart, he's the weak link in the forward line. I may never really see nothing from him in the Trinidad games that impressed me to all that for bring him in this squad. Even though he has been doing well in the JPL. And he's a player that I do have respect for him based on what he has been doing in the JPL. But, this is the big leagues now, so we need the big guns. So, can't understand why a Stewart would make it over a Gray. And I don't understand why the likes of Johnson Clark Harris, why is he not in the mix? Does he have his documents? Does he not? Who knows? But guys, hit me in the comment section. Let me know what you think about this Reggae Boy squad. Do you think this Reggae Boy squad is good enough to go down to Mexico and get a good result? I think so, Even though this team is not what I envisioned it would have been a couple of weeks ago, I still think this is a good enough team that can go to Mexico and get a good result. And if Jaime Grimson goes to Mexico and wins that game, it would that would be a strong statement, a really strong statement, But I think this team is certainly a team that can go down to Mexico and get a positive result. I'm just itching to see Jamaica field a team that is close to full strength, and this is obviously not the case. So guys, take care, stay safe, knock up the like button, subscribe and share, and until next time.